It was a big day for historic photos. Pope's funeral at the Vatican brought together some of the biggest world leaders in the world. And the Ukrainian team saw this as a chance to talk to Donald Trump. Trump had been battering Zelensky in the press, blaming him for the war in Ukraine. And it was time for the Ukraine team to do some mitigation work. What we got were these incredible photos. Head to head, Trump and Zelensky having a one-on-one chat. Just look at that, absolutely beautiful. But what were they saying? Not talking about suits, I imagine. Trump oddly deciding to wear blue, despite the Vatican requesting black for the funeral. Even MAGA supporters felt the need to defend this by doctoring photos to suggest that other world leaders also wore blue. And Zelensky, although did wear black, didn't wear a suit. He wore a sort of more formal version of his black clothes. This was to stand in solidarity with his men and women who are at war in Ukraine. But enough about the clothes. In terms of the conversation, this could be the moment that it all changes. There is no official transcript of the conversation, but both parties said the conversation was productive, and Trump came out of that conversation being somewhat less pro-Putin. In a Truth Social post, Trump questioned why Putin had used missiles on citizens. Trump also said that perhaps Putin was stringing him along and that perhaps Putin didn't want to get the war finished. Trump said that if that was the case, then America would go in a different direction. But what caused the shift? Just a few days earlier, Trump was seemingly more pro-Putin. It may have just been that during that frank one-on-one chat, Zelensky managed to persuade Trump about the reality of what is going on inside Ukraine. Perhaps this one-on-one chat was a chance for these two world leaders to talk without aides and the glare of cameras. Well, okay, one camera for the picture, but other than that, pretty personal. It could be something else. Trump's envoy to the war in Ukraine, Mr. Witkoff, has been meeting Russia's President Vladimir Putin. They've been embracing and smiling and talking about how to end the war. But perhaps privately, Witkoff has vented his frustration to Trump. And perhaps he has said that Russia is dragging its feet on finishing the war. It wasn't just that Zelensky spoke to Trump. Macron of France tried and failed to join in on these special chats, but his wandering hands eventually got the one-on-one with Zelensky that he so wanted, and once again, some pretty amazing pictures coming out of that conversation. Less bonus points for Sir Keir Starmer, Great Britain's leader, who was also pictured in a comparatively boring photo with Zelensky. Come on, where's the Vatican artwork? Where's the garden? Just a picture of those two talking. Who needs that? Vladimir Putin himself was not at the event. He is a wanted man by the ICC and, although unlikely, risked arrest by going to the country. Perhaps Putin got a bit of FOMO watching these events unfold without him. Look, here's the deal. Putin needs Trump to finish this war on Russia's terms. Trump falling out with Russia is bad for Russia, and not the other way around. When Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine took place back in 2022, Russia knew that it couldn't compete with NATO and American intervention. The American money coming in was slowing down Russia's invasion, and Putin knew it. So the next best scenario was for Putin to stop America putting in those American dollars. And how do you do that? You turn American democracy on itself. In Russia, you cannot question the war. You can't even call it a war, it's a special military operation. But in America, you can do so much more. We know that over the last couple of years, Russian bots have been spreading lies such as Zelensky using that money on yachts and his wife going on big shopping trips. The aim of this is to divide Americans who are struggling to buy eggs, and for them to say, why am I spending my tax dollars on a war that I'm not even interested in? But Putin needs a voice to broadcast this message, and Trump has championed that previously. By becoming president, Donald Trump has enabled Putin's voice to be heard across America. Trump communicates these ideas. He divides Americans further, and he has lowered support for Ukraine financially. But if Trump falls out with Putin, then it will all be for nothing. There is no other world leader that champions these views in the way that Trump does. For Putin, the opposite is far worse. If Trump falls out with Russia, he could pump the American dollars back into Ukraine. That would make the invasion for Russia incredibly difficult, as it already has been for them. As Russia's economy wobbles, as the war grinds on, and as Russia's oil revenue fluctuates, losing Trump is not in Russia's best interest. It therefore remains to be seen, but these pictures could be the start of something very different.